And it's time for another 3-minute dinner plan. We've got a full box of pre-cooked bacon, 2 different flavors of almonds, cutting board, half a cup of butter, cup and a half of sugar, some corn syrup, a candy thermometer, and this is very important, a wooden spoon, a silicone spatula, a Silpat mat. These are the coolest things, and you're definitely going to want to have one of these. A tablespoon for measuring, and we got a little bit of pre-prep to go on here. We also have 3 bottles of dark beer. You'll see what that's for in a little bit. But all the pre-prep needs to be done on this before you start cooking. Believe me that you want to have everything done, and I'll show you what that does in here in just a minute. Almonds, we got a mix of smokehouse almonds, and these are actually butter toffee flavored almonds. And we're just going to spend some time chop. This is kind of a pain, but you need to get them chopped up in kind of small fragments. And this is going to take about 5 minutes to get enough to fill a cup and a half. Now we have a cup and a half of chopped almonds. Now you can use walnuts, you can use pecans, you can use pistachios, but something salty will work much better in this. There's a little bit of salt in the butter, but that's inconsistent depending on what kind of butter you buy. So get something good and salty, and this is actually flavored with smoky flavor and the toffee flavor. And it took about that long to cut the nuts, so you have to figure at least a couple minutes. Next up on the list, we got to get the bacon done. Now, we're going to use the entire pack of pre-cooked bacon. And if you look, this is just nicely crisped, but it's not browned heavily. That's good because there's still a lot of flavor in here that we're going to impart later on in this recipe. We're going to get ahead of time, we're going to chop this up, we're going to dice it into little pieces. I'll show you what that looks like here in a minute. Alright, this is the pre-prep you need to have done before you even get near cooking. And I'm telling you right now, if this is not done, you're going to be way behind it because you're going to be overloaded with too many things to do in a very fast pace. What we're doing here is we're just barely starting the cooking. We've got the 2 sticks of butter. We have 3 tablespoons of water. Don't ask me why that's in there. I don't know. But on top of that, we're going to add, this is nasty thick stuff. It's clear light corn syrup, 3 tablespoons. And I don't know. When this gets all cooked, I guess it works. But we're going to start by warming this slowly, and as we're going, we got a cup and a half of sugar, and we're going to sit here and mine this on medium heat until all the mixture is completely hot and bubbly. All right, all at once, after you have all your ingredients in the pan, you got it started to warm up and so forth, you'll see almost instantly starting to boil like this, and when it gets to this point, you want to stir it constantly. Now it's going to start to heat up pretty good. But once it gets about 200 degrees, then it really rapidly rises to over 300 degrees. Now this is really thick, sugary, buttery. It's napalm. You get this on you, you are going to die. You don't want to have any children, any distractions, nothing around you when you're doing this. It will kill you. It is hotter than shit. So be very careful. And the reason that we wanted to do all the pre-prep and have everything ready to go when this is hot is because it's going to be rapid fire. You got to be really on the ball to get this all put together all at once, one fell swoop. You're going to keep an eye on your thermometer. Right now we're probably right about 200. The water that we added to this is boiling off as we cook, and it's going to start to thicken up and it's going to start to brown. If you don't have a candy thermometer, you're shit out of luck. You really need one. All right, we're going to keep cooking this on medium to high heat. You better moderate your heat, otherwise you'll boil over really quick, and if you do, you'll be chiseling it off for months. We've been boiling here and warming here for just a little while, I'd say about 10 minutes, and you can see that we definitely have a change of color here, and we've got an interesting texture of this. Now this is thick and bubbly, and if you get any on your skin, you're going to wish that you had died. It is that painful. It is completely searing hot. Right now we're about 305 degrees. We're going to get up to 310, which candy makers call the hard crack stage. And when we do, it's going to be rapid fire. Okay, we are at about 310, 315 degrees. You don't want to go very much higher than that. You definitely want to keep stirring while this is all going on. When you take the thermometer out and everything's at the right temp, you can turn the heat off. You can see we got a good caramel color in that. Be very careful when this drips. It's good. It's very, very painful. All at once. We're going to punch in all the bacon. And if you listen very closely, you're going to hear it start to sizzle in this hot mixture. And that's going to impart all that nice bacon flavor into here. Right on top of it. Ooh, listen. Right on top of that, a cup of half a nuts. And I wish you could smell what this smells like right now. But be very careful because, like I said, this is a hot enough, active enough mixture. Right now you can see it's nuclear. It's really just coming out. Sometimes if you pour the bacon in and the nuts in, you'll quench the mixture and it'll start to freeze up, to solidify. If your temperature is above about 310, that's really where you want it because it'll stay liquid when you combine your ingredients. And now we're ready to go. Now I'm going to put this on the sill pad all at once. Time for the silicone spatula. We're going to get this out of here as quick as we can. It's nice and liquidy, but believe me, in just a couple of seconds, it'll start to set up. And stay away with any bare skin. Honest. Stay as far away as you can. Oh, the smell, the maple smell of the bacon right now is intense. And a caramel smell from the butter and the sugar and the almonds. Alright. While this is flexible and it's not set up, we're going to roll this out and get it as thin and flat as we can. It'll take a couple minutes to do this. And we'll stop back in a couple minutes and show you what it looks like. Here we go with the final. Here it is. Gorgeous caramel color. It's nice and cold. It's on the sill pad mat here, so it's not going to stick. It's cooked to 310 to 320 degrees, so that's hard crack stage for candy makers. And there's a little bit of piece over here and a little piece over here, and I apologize for that because I just couldn't help myself. But if you look, it comes out gorgeous. Now this has got a little bit of pattern to it because of the sill pad, and you usually would probably want to cover this with chocolate, but it doesn't stick real well to the bottom because there's a little bit of butter in here. So if you're going to cover this with chocolate, do it on the top. We're going to use 22 ounces of melt chocolate. We're going to melt that in a pan with boiling water. We're going to put the chocolate in here and just let it go. Make sure you don't get water or steam in your chocolate. Let this go for about 10 minutes and we'll show you what it looks like when we're done. Alright, this literally took about 2 minutes to melt. We're going to take this, gather it up, and pour it on top of there. And we'll show you what that looks like in a minute. Ooh, just a little bit of prep. Now, they call for about 14 ounces of chocolate to cover this. But if you use a full bag of milk chocolate of 22 ounces, nobody's going to complain. And we'll get this nice and even. We'll let it set and we'll show you the finished product. So we'll have to admit there might have been a little bit of spatula time from the extra chocolate that didn't end up on the toffee. Ooh, chocolate. It's nicely set. It was in the freezer just for a little bit, but it'll cool in room temperature either way. What is possible about this is to crack it in places just like that. And it will completely crack in pieces and pieces. And you can have cracked toffee. And that's how you do it. Delicious bacon chocolate toffee.